And we're live.
And we are live.
I just said that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, guess what? It's us.
We're back.
All right, that was good. Sorry, I keep hitting the wrong button. I'm going to play our music because that's what we typically do. So I'm going to share the screen here real quick. So pardon me, I usually do this on the Macintosh. We're switching to the PC. There you go. You guys can see that. Here, let's go to the big picture right there. Let's go like this. And bam, I'm gonna hit the play button. I think I did it wrong again. It is a day, friends. It is a wacky day. Okay, here we go. I had to hit the share audio.
Everything crazy has happened today. Trust me, everything crazy.
Everything is crazy, but that's all right. Let me find. Oh shoot! Of course, I closed the video, the audio. My gosh! Hey, guess what, everybody? Welcome to
That's Delicious.
That's Delicious.
It's just our placeholder for the.
It's our placeholder, but I'm gonna actually play it right now because I have figured out how to do it. We have a very special guest today. And we'll get into that in just a second. What is going on with me today, man? I don't even know anymore.
Are you feeling okay?
Am I feeling okay? We've already got a few viewers and listeners. Okay, now we're going to get this. Here we go. That's delicious. That's delicious. All right, now I can remove that. Now I can actually stop sharing that. Now I can share the actual screen,
PowerPoint.
the actual PowerPoint. It's a PDF file. Look at that. Why don't you scooch over just a little bit there? Bam, there you go. My arm will be around you just like that. Hey, welcome everybody to That's Delicious. I'm Dalibor.
I'm Ellie.
That is correct. You get a gold star. Let me do this. This might be easier. Bam. I'm really going to get this figured out, I swear. February 24th, 2021. Thank you again to Nev. You can find her on Spotify. You can find her on Instagram at Nev Music. It's pretty awesome. As we like to do now, we're going to start off all the shows with some good news. We got some good news that people have sent in. Maike, her name's, I think it's Maike. She writes, she attended a super inspiring talk today with leaders in her company. She loved it so much. Does that work? Totally does. Anytime you get inspired, it's a good thing, right? Mm-hmm. Inspiration is good. Let's see what other good news we got. Chris Owen says, just found out I've qualified for an invitational race in an iRacing league that I just started running in this year. That's cool. iRacing is like a really cool racing league.
Nice.
It's loaded with a bunch of super talented drivers, and I just scraped by to qualify. So good job, Chris. That's pretty awesome. That's good news. Congrats. Nick says, she says, my study is going to be used as a part of my company's resource library for supporting trans members and patients. That's very cool. Anytime your work can be recognized like that, that's pretty awesome. And Short Attention Gamer, I like that name because I have a Short Attention Gamer. I have a Short Attention Gamer right here. He says, my son caught a shiny shadow Aerodactyl just now in Pokemon Go. Remember Pokemon Go?
Yep.
And we got some awesome ones. Remember this thing? What's this guy?
It's Perseverance.
The Mars Perseverance. We landed on Mars. Check out these cool photos.
Is it okay if I share something too?
No. You can share something next time. We're gonna make a special Ellie episode.
Okay.
Check this out. Those are really cool photos. Look at that landing on Mars. I almost said the moon. Ellie's got a really good joke later that is kind of that's not really Mars related, but there's an old saying that goes, men are from Mars and women are from Venus. So your joke, I think, is going to fit into that perfectly. Good stuff. All right. With that said, I'm kicking you out because we have a special guest. She's out of here. She's going to go play. She'll be back. Trust me. She's an awesome kid. Yep. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to slide in here. We have a very cool guest today. My buddy Greg, you can see his wonderful picture there. I'm gonna pronounce it like non-Macedonians pronounce it, and Greg will love this. Greg Iljkoski. I'm not gonna butcher his name. I'll have him in here in a second. Greg started a business over the last year, and the reason I think the good news part was awesome because we ended with Mars perseverance, because it does take perseverance to get a business started during a pandemic, and I figured let's get Greg in here to talk about doing just that. There we go. And much better. Cool. All right, there we go. Greg, how's it going, man?
Good, man. How you doing? You know what's funny is I used to say my last name was Iljkoski up until I married Sonda.
Oh, dude, that's all right. I was Danny. I used to call myself Danny because no one could say Dalibor.
Nice.
So yeah, there we go. I totally know the feeling. And my favorite part about growing up with a non-traditional name is I think we tell the joke all the time. It's like you'll be in elementary school or like junior high, and someone will be going through the list of names and be like Brian Adams here, Matt Castle here, and it gets to me, it's like, okay, I'm gonna mess this up. I'm just like, just here, I'm here. Don't worry about it. I'm right here.
100%. As soon as they pause, you just raise your hand. Like,
just raised your hand.
Don't even bother.
Well, it's awesome to have you on the show, my dude.
I'm happy to be on, man. Super excited.
I want to bring you on the show because you have done something which is pretty freaking awesome, and that's you started your own company during the pandemic. First of all, what the heck were you thinking? Second of all, that's pretty freaking cool. Tell me. First of all, tell me what the company is. I'm gonna show the website here in a second, but tell me a little bit about the company.
So the company is called Rortek. We're basically a telecom broker, and the way it started, man, is like me and my business partner both worked at AT&T, and then I kind of went my own way, working with a different type of we called them solution providers. They only had an AT&T agreement.
Okay.
And learn the skill set with them, and then COVID happened, and a whole bunch of stuff went sideways with probably every small business.
Sure.
So things changed, and I started looking at some different options, and I was like, why would I work like twice as hard and get paid less for somebody else when I already know how to do it all? So might as well venture off and start my own thing. So, and it was definitely crazy.
It wasn't nothing crazy, but it seemed like it was the perfect time to do it because there were so many things up in the air that it almost felt, from my standpoint, this is why we started doing these videos. Sorry about the lighting in here. I don't know why my computer lighting. I should have you come help me set up my internet and my lighting in my house. It seems like a crazy time. So I'm curious, what gave you the confidence to actually start your business during a pandemic? Like, were you not terrified that it could all go sour and then you're screwed in the end?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like, I'm still terrified every day. It's like
that's okay. That's good.
Every time we start talking, I'm like, oh man, it's like, we got to do this, we got to do that. It's just long list of things that have to get done every single day. So it's definitely, I think it's like motivating, if you ask me. Like,
motivating. I like that. Motivating. That's good.
There's a lot of people that get that anxiety and they kind of freak out. Why it's like with me, I feel like once that kind of kicks in, you just start moving forward. Like, you got to figure something out. So it's like tread water or get out.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say with starting it, it's like the guy that was my business partner, like we've been friends for a while, and I've known him probably 8 years now. So we met at AT&T, and we kind of went from there. And, I called him when everything kind of went sideways with the other job and kind of bouncing ideas off of each other. And I was like, why don't we just do this ourselves? Like, it's like, like stuff I don't know, he knows, and vice versa. So it's like, it's a great partnership. And we start calling around. And once I started figuring out like how much some of these different carriers paid telecom brokers, I was like, man, if I only sold like half of what I sold, we'd be good. No one has to sell anything else. So I was like, that's kind of the mindset is, we had the minimum we have to try to hit. Everything over that is a bonus. And we just jumped in both feet and went from there. I remember when I was telling the business partners, Steve, you met him on Clubhouse.
Yep.
He's like, oh, I'm going to put my month notice in tomorrow. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, dude. Let's make sure we're good to go. We have everything covered. And yeah, once we had everything ready to go, he Next day he walked in and was like, "Hey, I got to give you my 4-week notice." So
Wow.
it was interesting. And then it's funny, like once that day hit when we both didn't have a job, is like a mini panic attack that first day. We're like, "Oh my God, what do we do?" Like we're technically we don't have jobs right now. I was like, you can't just say I'm like an entrepreneur. You work for yourself. So it's definitely a good thing. So kind of
I got to ask you real quick before we get into what you guys actually do. What was that first day like? Like you woke up, you're no longer working full time at another company. You literally you wake up for yourself. Like what does that feel like? What was that first day like for you?
Man, it's like I felt like I usually get up early anyway for work, but I think I woke up probably like an hour and a half earlier and just like kind of paced around my living room for like 30 minutes. Like, all right, we got to figure this out. We gotta get going from here. And I know I called Steve probably like 7 o'clock. I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" He's like, kind of freaking out. I'm like, "Yeah, me too."
I'm
like,
terrified.
Yeah, we're like, all right, we just got to do what we know we can do. And we had a plan kind of outlined from the get-go. And it's like we started working probably like 7 a.m. And that first like month, I felt like we probably put in, I don't know, like 13 hours a day. So
wow.
Trying to get everything organized and going. It's like, it's funny. It's like you mentioned like your first day, we think we're good to go. And then you start getting in the process of things and little things pop up and you're like, "Oh, I wasn't thinking about that."
Mm-hmm.
And then you got everything gets put on hold for the whole day, trying to figure out the one little step. And then you just move on from there. So but the first day I would say is panic.
It really does. Like, I mean, I remember seeing messages. I mean, when you were first going off and doing this thing by yourself, you're sending messages to me, to Tony, my brother, to friends of us, and you're like, "Hey guys," a lot more messages than normal from Greg. Yeah, I think we were all kind of feeling it for you. But so you get past that first day, kind of the weirdness of that first day, and things start to actually move along. Are you kind of in a or what point, when did it finally feel like you were actually kind of in a cadence and a rhythm of what your day was going to be like, of what your goals were for the week?
I probably have to say a solid month in, like at least 4 to 6 weeks. So it's like, it's one of those things, like I said, once you get the cadence down, it starts moving smoothly, and then something else pops up or something else happens. You don't think about it until you're actually in the process. So then so I'd say probably a solid 4 to 6 weeks. And now everything is, you got this is what we got to do every day. We got the cadence down. We have who we got to reach out to. And then that's really it. The first month, though, is also hard because before we still do actually work with a few other local carriers, like their business reps. So it's kind of like building those relationships, letting them know, hey, now, you worked with Steve at AT&T or wherever, and now we're doing our own thing. So they know they can reach out to us if they need help.
Sure.
And kind of going from there. So, but yeah, solid 4 to 6 weeks to get going smoothly.
So now you're actually doing it. You're actually working for yourself. You have the nice Wall Street. It was all a dream sign behind you there. You're motivated. And you've grown. Is it still just the two of you guys, or have you grown your team at all?
Yeah, we have a few other people on board. So we have
awesome.
a couple 1099 salespeople.
Okay.
So they kind of work under us, and then we have a couple prospectors, so some cold callers. That's a big part of what we do. It's like, we got to get in front of those businesses. We got to keep calling and contacting them, emails. And when you get tied up and stuff, it's almost impossible. Like your whole day gets bogged down. So, I mean, imagine at home, like if your Wi-Fi goes down. I mean, yeah, you can troubleshoot it, plug it back in, it might work. But if you actually have to troubleshoot it, man, that could take all day. So you have customers calling you like, hey, we're paying X amount for fiber. Why is it not working? Disaster all day long, just trying to fix one issue. And then, you don't make any calls, no emails, and then you're behind the ball. So we're like, need to get some people in there to kind of help us with that. So keep it simple.
Yeah, you kept it simple, but you still scaled a little. You scaled enough. It sounds like it.
Yep. Okay. Try not to expand too much.
Yeah.
We're talking about, we know a few other people that kind of do the same thing, and it's almost like they get too big, and I don't know. It's like you don't know what one hand is doing with the other one, and it's just too much. So we're trying to keep it where it's just the salespeople. And I feel like if you grow like your front line, everything in the back end we can grow later, or we handle it. So that's the goal.
Sure. I mean, it's fantastic. Everybody, the pandemic, the last 12 months it's been 12 months now. Wow. It's affected everybody differently, right? A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people gained new jobs. A lot of people got new businesses or closed businesses and whatever. A lot of things happened over the last year. So it's great to see people that, kind of said, I'm just going to go all in. Let's do this. Let's kind of go head first. And it really did feel, from my standpoint, watching you, it really felt like perfect timing, for you. And on top of that, like we've been communicating a lot over the last several months. You and your team have been like really open to getting your names out there in unconventional ways. Like you mentioned briefly Clubhouse. Like we've been starting to do Clubhouse. So a lot of people that don't know, Clubhouse is it's kind of the hot new social media app. It's audio only. It's just like doing almost like talks, right? Like like
so
if you do
it's like a live interactive podcast. That's what it feels like to me. So it's like people are talking. If you have something to say, just raise your hand and hop in there. So
and it's
a big
really
fan of Clubhouse now.
You guys have been in it nonstop, and I remember getting you you were like, "Sure, I'll take because I had an extra invite. I'll take an invite." And then I opened the app, and it's like, "Greg is in this room. Greg is in this room. Greg is in this room." But both you and your partner Steven have been like really into getting your names out there, unconventional ways. Really kind of just dipping your toes in kind of unique ways to interact with people, and it hasn't been. In the traditional, like, I haven't seen you go out there and say, "Hey, sign us up right away." What you've been doing is saying, "Hey, let me hear." And this is like, I'm paraphrasing you, but I've seen you do this. And this is, again, another reason I want to get you on the show. You've been saying, "Hey, let me just talk. Let's just talk about what's happening, what's going on." Oh, me? Oh, I'm Greg. Yeah, I run this company, but don't worry about me running a company. Let's just talk, be humans, and you're building up trust in ways that is really cool. It's really honor. Like I've worked with other folks, and right away it's like, how can you advertise my product? But you're taking a different direction. So what's kind of driving you to try things a little bit differently?
Oh man, so it's like I kind of put myself in like our client's shoes. It's like, now that I can sit there and I can tell them, "Hey, I'm a small business owner too. I get it." We get calls all the time of, "Oh, you should try this product or try that product." And nobody ever wants to just be pitched stuff,
Right.
So it's like, I hate that. It's like, I don't like to waste my time on that. I'm usually pretty blunt. Like, "Hey, I'm not looking for that kind of stuff." And I just let it go. But when it comes to like what we do with like just telecom, like everybody probably feels like they're overpaying on something.
Sure.
It's like even when I worked for one of the providers, I was still like, "Man, my bill's so high. I don't get it." It has a discount. So it's like, I can imagine somebody that has no discount, how it feels. So, I mean, that's really how we look at it, is just make the connection. Because we get a lot of the time, like we call people and we're like, "Oh, we're trying to just set up a review, like an account review, see how everything's working." And they're like, "Well, who the hell's Rortek?" Like, let me explain. So we go through the whole process.
Let me tell you.
Yeah. And then once we kind of get them on the phone and go through everything, it's like you just build that trust, and you're not going to trust anybody that's trying to slam you with stuff. And so we try to do. I feel like a lot of the clients we work with is we fix a lot of problems first, and then we kind of go from there. So it's like, that's how you got to build the trust is, "Oh, I'm overpaying on this, or this doesn't work." Fix that first, and then circle back around and see what we can do after.
And building that trust is important, right?
Yep.
Right now, especially, everybody's going through completely different things. Businesses don't really know. A lot of businesses don't know how to handle this situation that we're in. And so having people that are strictly working on trust and building that connection, I think, is so important.
Yeah. And like you said, like outside of the box thinking, it's like you can only make so many cold calls before you're like, "Oh my God, I can't." Like, I mean, typically in like our industry, like November, December, it's usually the slow time. Thanksgiving hits. A lot of business, like decision makers, aren't in the office until the new year. So we're kind of expecting that. We're ready for it. Like November, we're like, all right, just, check emails and kind of go from there. And Dalibor, I'm not joking, man. Like November 15th to about January 15th, I didn't talk to one business. Like I was calling them, I was leaving voicemails. I had a couple of receptionists like call me back, or just regular employees. Not one decision maker called me back, not one appointment. So, January 15th, I'm talking to Steve. I'm like, "Man, it's like, forgot what it's like to talk to somebody, dude." Like, it's just
doing the right thing.
Another. So that's what made me think. I was like, there's got to be a different way to do this. It's like you said, like with COVID and working from home, it's less people are in the office now, and you're
Yeah.
going to have a harder time getting a hold of them. So it's, if you reach out on Clubhouse or Twitter and just seeing like, hey, how can I help? Like if you see on Twitter, like I'll search, like when people have issues, like, oh, my internet's down. Like, I'll just see if I can help. Like if I can't, I'm not going to get a sale out or anything out of it, but if I can help you, I mean, that's a plus for me, because then they're going to be like, oh, this guy actually cared that, you know, my business had no internet for a day and got somebody on the phone with me. So.
And down the line, that person might say, you know, this one dude helped me. And I remember in his profile, he had this thing about technical solutions set up. Let me see if I can get a hold of him again. What was the name? Oh, there he was.
Yeah.
That sticks with people.
Yeah.
Being good, being optimistic, being helpful. And you mentioned, you know, for those couple months where there was nothing going on, the holidays, you know, that's the time you reach out. You know, everyone calls it the season of giving. And the best way for businesses to build up that reputation is to give. And it not necessarily, you don't have to give cash. You don't have to give products away. Give your expertise away. And that's exactly what you guys did.
You know, it's funny. We had a couple appointments where when we run them, and the guys are like, well, what's your fee? Like, how do you make money? I'm like, I was like, we don't charge anything. Like, we don't charge the clients anything unless we have to physically go there to do something, which we prefer not to do. Cause I mean, we know enough. We can handle if you need like a phone system set up, but we kind of leave that to like their IT staff. Like, I feel like most IT individuals don't like it when we get involved, like we're stepping on their toes.
Sure.
We're just there to, you know, help with the decision making and kind of go from there. But yeah, so it's like little things like that is just what makes the difference, honestly. So
that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, let's go in a little bit into what you guys actually do.
Yes.
So here I'm on the Rortek homepage here. Nice logo, by the way.
Thank you. It's not after Monsters 2 or Monsters University. Everybody was like, "Did you get that from the
Lions fan?" You're totally a Lions fan. That's what it is. So here we are. We're on the homepage right now. I mean, go ahead. Tell me like in layman's terms for the folks that maybe are just logging in right now through the show, what you guys do and how you can help businesses and people.
Yep. So basically what we do is we have the communication with over 200 different carriers. So we have a lot of direct agreements with them or master agreements that we're working with. And if somebody needs internet or phone service, or, I mean, man, we work with cybersecurity specialists. They can just call us, let us know what's needed. And we actually go out there and shop the carriers. So we come back and we're like, these are your best pricing. This is what we would recommend. If we worked with different carriers, like obviously like me and my business partner have experience with a lot of them that are local. Like we can put our 2 cents in, like, this is typically how this process goes. You know, if you got time, let's do it this way. Like, this is your best option. Just make those suggestions, honestly. We do work with a lot of our clients. Like I said, it's really just like price saving, seeing how we can cut some costs on their bills, see if we can save money with a different carrier, and just shopping around. So you'll be surprised, man. Like coming from, you know, I grew up in a restaurant, like a family restaurant. And I always thought growing up, like, oh, landlines are expensive because business landlines are like through the roof.
Sure.
There's some businesses we work with when we get, like, we talk to them and they tell us how much they're spending on stuff. We're like, hold on, that doesn't make any sense. Like, you guys have 15 employees. How are you spending $1,100 on phone lines? Like, it's crazy. So it's just basically having us there as like your crutch, I guess you can say.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Feels like you're spending too much. We go out there and save it. A lot of the carriers that we work with, we have the direct connection with like the channel manager that's in the state. So if anything happens, we have like a direct line to get something resolved. And then there's a few of them that we have direct agreements with. So it's basically like we work for them. We're just contracted under them.
Sure.
So we have full access to their systems. So it's almost like if you need a rep, you just call the rep and they take care of it. You can call us and we just do the same thing.
That's great. It's almost like a concierge service for getting that data voice, all kind of that whole business aspect, which, and again, right now, a lot of people are working from home. Businesses are changing, right? There's a lot less, let's say, in-person stuff in certain ways, and things are going more digital. They're going more tech. They're going more connectivity is so much
crazy, man. Some of the stuff we see, like their bandwidth usage is through the roof.
Yeah.
Because imagine, you know, you have 30, 40 people that need a VPN in. That's all people using your bandwidth trying to connect to your location. So
That's insane.
it's nuts, man. Like
I'm looking at just all these different solutions that you have on your home. Again, you can go to rorteksolutions.com. I'm just going to click on like cloud computing. Cloud computing to me is always something, it's near and dear to my heart because there you go. I mean, you guys are right into there. You're talking about the improvement and how you can kind of access stuff quicker. And you have have tons of these great ways
it's really crazy on some of the solutions that are out there, man. Like on there, like they have like the connected cow. Like
the connected
farmers
cow,
can have like an asset tracker basically on their farm, like their
that's amazing.
Cattle to keep track of them where they go. It's really crazy, like how out there some of these solutions are. So it's pretty interesting. So
this is so cool because right down to food monitoring. I mean, obviously, right now, food is really important. For a lot of folks. I mean, I'm seeing this monitor temperature. The restaurant industry and home cooking, things have changed a lot, right? We cook from home more often, but at the same time, we enjoy going to restaurants more often. I don't know if that makes sense. It used to be like, I'm just going to stop by TGI Fridays on the way home because it's quick, or I'll stop by, Taco Bell yesterday. But now whenever we think of going to a restaurant, whenever we think of like food not at home, we think, all right, what places have good food? What places are, what we actually look at the quality. So I think this you're kind of showing,
this is big with a lot of bigger businesses that say have like a cafeteria.
Okay.
So if you go in to buy food, like there's some places that already have the cases there. So you just grab it, kind of scan it yourself, and it monitors the temperature. Like you don't need anybody there to check that.
They have that at our office. Yeah.
They had it at a few of the offices in Southfield that we visited. I'm like, that makes sense. So pretty cool stuff, man.
This is so cool. I mean, and you have tons, just a lot of these example solutions. You guys are obviously trying to be, with COVID-19, you're trying to be you're not only trying to be safe, but you're trying to help people be safe and enable, like it says, enable the remote work or the whole work from home aspect.
Thinking outside the box, basically. There's a lot of people when we get them on the phone, or even our existing clients, when they're like, how are we supposed to do this? Like, how would you recommend handling this? Like we have one HVAC company that has like a ton of phones and a ton of iPads for their workers, and they're trying to think of a way to basically downsize all the stuff they got to carry, which makes sense. So imagine you're like a technician, you got a big iPhone Plus, and then you got an iPad with you, and then all your tools. It's like, do you really want to carry both of those electronics? So different ways of doing it, or different ways to stay connected. That's the biggest thing. And people in the field too, like a lot of the people that work in the field. So it's like just trying to think of how they can communicate back with headquarters. If there's any documents that have to be scanned, how are you scanning it? Like maybe there's a better way to do that, or more cost-effective way to do that. So definitely, the cybersecurity aspect is crazy. Like me and my business partner know a decent amount on cybersecurity, but that is changing every day. So we actually have like a cybersecurity specialist on retainer. So it's like if we need somebody that's like, let's say a lot of law firms, they need to have certain compliance. We just bring him on the call, and he just does the whole thing, which is amazing. And every time he talks, like I joke with Steve, like I'm taking notes. I'm like, man, like where's this guy going with these questions? So it's just different.
And these are all the different things, all these solutions you're putting on there, but it's all the different ways that technology and being connected and having your business connected and online and functioning. Not only are they important today, but really getting people set up for tomorrow and the day after. Because, up until March of last year, nobody knew what was going to happen, right? Everybody was just, I'm going to drive to work. I'm going to do the same thing I've been doing for the last 20 years. And then March hit. We remember the day. It was like Friday the 13th or whatever it was that Friday. They're like, all right, that's it. You're working from home for the foreseeable future. And it happened to everybody. Yeah. And we all companies had to pivot quickly. A lot of that because the infrastructure just wasn't ready for folks, for corporations to flip quickly to either work from home or going more digital and things like that. And so that's where somebody like you guys come in. It says, hey, listen, you guys need the help. Let us be your guide and help you through this.
like working from home, like when we switched, like now you got to think of like the usage in your house. It's not just you on your computer working. Like with me, it's like I have 2 kids. So it's like I got one kid on Disney Plus, the other kid on YouTube Kids.
Yeah.
I was like, Sando's working on her computer. So it's like, it's just nonstop people using the data left and right. And I remember the first couple months, I was like, man, the backbone here can't handle it because everybody's working from home. It's like the internet was dragging. It's like I have a gig to my house, not even close. I think like when I did a speed test, I was at like 10 megs. I was like,
Yep.
oh my goodness, man. And they even have like there's providers now that actually have like ways so you can have multiple connections just for business. So you can have like your primary. So let's say you have Comcast or AT&T. It plugs into like an SD-WAN box, and then you can have a mobility backup. So it finds the easiest path of resistance. So you never slow down, nothing ever buffers. It's pretty cool. So it's just, if you have a lot of usage, there's some different options for you. So
and again, and now is the time to just get started. I mean, even if if things have sort of leveled off for a company or right now, get ready for whatever tomorrow brings, because you really don't know. The best to do is to be connected, and have or to have somebody there to be ready with you, which is what you guys are. You guys are perfect.
I feel like a lot of these businesses, I mean, it's going to be different even when this is all over, man. I feel like a lot of people still going to work from home. Most of them haven't really seen a drop in productivity.
Yeah, so we have. We're even more, we're busier than we've ever been.
Yeah, and if you think about it too, it's like, so now it's your employees are working from home. It's easier for them to be like, well, I got to hop on my computer at 7 o'clock to take care of something. Typically when you're home, like 5 o'clock hits, spend 45 minutes to an hour driving home, and then you're like, I'm not looking at my stuff until tomorrow. Now it's like, well, if I have to take care of it, you might as well just knock it out because you're already home.
Definitely.
It's a different mindset, man. Then it's like, I'm just curious on like corporate real estate. Like, where's that going to go?
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh man, I don't know. It's like, that's the one thing that might take a turn for the worst. There's not going to be a lot of people that want to go in.
There are companies that are downsizing the size, they're downsizing their buildings, but then those spaces are available for folks who are just starting up a business or having a central location for a remote company.
That's true. A lot of what's that called, man? When you have like the co-sharing space, a lot of them changing into that. Like I saw like when we first started, I remember because I'd work in like upstairs. So it's like, man, it's like I couldn't focus. I just heard the kids running around. Yep. So I started like calling all these places, like I'm just going to get an office. And then once I go there and look, I'm like, so I'm just like in the middle of like the lounge area. I'm like, yeah, it's not going to work. So it's like, it's just, everything is pivoting now. It's like they got less people in the office. So they're just trying to find a way to fill those spaces. It's interesting. So
completely agree. Well, Greg, thank you for taking some time telling us about, what got you to this, to start your own company, the trials and tribulations, and what you guys do. I think that's fantastic. So yeah, you can find them at rorteksolutions.com right there. I can actually point down. Look at that. rorteksolutions.com. Check Greg and his team out. I think this is awesome. And all the power to you, man. This is
Thanks,
so cool.
Man. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Any final comments for folks who are maybe kind of maybe in that weird spot where should they take the dive? Should they not? Should they go off on their own?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like we kind of go back and forth on some of those clubhouse events on people that actually do it. And there's a lot of people that talk about like skill or mindset, like which one is it? And honestly, I feel like it's both. Like you can't have just the skill without the mindset.
Sure.
And it can't be the other way around. So it's like if you don't know what you're doing when you start a business, man, it's gonna be hard. You're gonna be struggling from the beginning up until you get those skills in place. But if you feel comfortable with the skills or the knowledge base you have, and just jump in, you got to do it. It's tough to do 2-3 things at one time. Like I still am juggling 3 things at once, and I'm like, you lose your mind. So it's tough. And then besides that is organization. Okay. So you got to plan out your day and organize and make sure you stay on top of it. I kind of talked about that once before when I was like, there's a lot of people that, set goals every year. And then, 2-3 months later, you kind of forget about the goal. I was like, if you set daily goals and check on it throughout the day, it's going to keep you on top of those goals. So, and then if you cross them all off, start some new ones. Make sure you just knock out as much as you can in one day. So
Brilliant.
that's really it. And
Greg,
allow
thank you so much, man. It's awesome. Greg, Rortek Solutions, everyone, make sure you definitely check them out. If your businesses are trying to get digital, or if you're trying to make that change right now, or if you're comfortable where you are, it always helps to have somebody, looking out for you for that possible next step. Greg, thank you very much. RortekSolutions.com. See, you've been having a lot of great comments here. Got to take the leap, go after it. We look forward to chatting again, Greg, and I'll see you on Club. I'll see you in our text message, our group text.
Oh, for sure. Yep. All right, guys.
Division.
Yep. Thanks again.
All right, man. Take care. That was pretty cool. Let me squeeze you in, Allie. That was pretty cool. So Greg started a business. Mr. Greg started a business during the pandemic, when everybody said, he's got to hunker down and do what you know best and stick with the job you have. Greg said, you know what? I think I can help people in a different way. And that's exactly what he did. Man, the lights are like changing every time. My face is like really bright. And if I step back over here, it gets darker. So it's really weird. I have to figure out what's going on with the lighting. But let me share the screen again with the application. So yeah, again, Greg from Rortek, thank you so much. That was awesome. RortekSolutions.com. Hey, it's time for Eliana's joke of the day.
Okay, this is from the point of view of a married man. My wife told me that I had no sense of direction, so I packed up my things and right.
That's good. High five. High five. Very nice. Good job. Ellie, your jokes kill me. They kill me. This has been Eliana's joke of the day. And we also have a question of the day. Answer the question in this post, either on YouTube or on Facebook. What show did you enjoy the most during the last year? I hate saying during the pandemic or during COVID, because we all did different things and it means different things to everybody else. But a lot of us binge watched a lot of different shows and a lot of different things. What show did you watch? I think that's always something super interesting. Oh my gosh, she's yawning. That's it. It's bedtime. That means that's delicious. That means we're done. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you all in the next episode of
That's Delicious.
That's Delicious. Bye-bye.